Greetings. Let's look at Chapter 15, Conflict and Conquest. Transformation of the West. Alright, let me flip through here. A little PowerPoint presentation. And see a few of my thoughts. Picture says it all, doesn't it? Railroads, cowboys and Indians and pioneers. That's a Hollywood movie for you. Farmers, miners, cattle. Your three biggies, your three industries that help settle the West: farming, mining, cattle ranching. Commerce, shipping. Shipping been with us since Jamestown, 1607. Along with those Native Americans there, we've got the buffalo being run into extinction, listen to me, extinction. And all of this sanctioned by God. Manifest destiny, 40, 50 years later. I called most of these. I whittled it down to like 9 slides. This is our second one. One factor in Western migration is a friendly government. Not just allowing it to happen, but not just allowing it to happen, but actually helping it to happen. Now, if you look at these 3 laws that your chapter pointed out right at the beginning, what's the common denominator? That's it. So, government handouts, if you will, boom. Homestead Act going out to me and you. Pacific Railway Act. Of course, we're getting the Transcontinental Railroad built. And Morrill Land Grant College Act. Land given to states to convert to land grant colleges. We got some issues here that we get to address. Some not so favorable, but let's look at it. Your book talks about mounting problems for Native Americans. Well, let's look at the origin of federal policy regarding Native Americans. Your Constitution, which, as we've already looked at, establishes the parameters within which all laws must fall, and the Constitution established that Indians are not citizens, and furthermore, they won't be taxed, they won't be counted into our population, since that has ramifications in the representation. Constitution also specifies that Indians are wards of the president. I guess I should have made that plural. Sorry about that. I'd have circled it on your paper. Yeah, I would. Okay. Not that I'll be doing any circling, but anyway. And treaties will formalize the relationship just as if it's another country. So it's the Native Americans lived in their nation, of course, and they were all nations within our nation. They were nations within the United States That's the best way I can put it. Now, your third president takes over 1801. Tom Jefferson lays it out there for them to either assimilate or move west of the Mississippi River. If you'll recall, President Jefferson is the one who brought about Louisiana Purchase. So right after Louisiana Purchase, right after this acquisition, which more than doubled the size of the country, which lays claim to land west of the Mississippi River for the first time for the United States, Jefferson said, well, let's just give that to the Indians. So Indians, Native Americans either assimilate, which means to adopt to the prevailing culture, either assimilate or move west of the Mississippi River. President Jackson takes over in 1829, and he lays it out that Indians are impediments to progress, and we need to get them out of here. And so he motivates Congress to pass the Indian Removal Act, which forcibly removed the 5 civilized tribes from our southeast corner out to about where Oklahoma is. So that was Trail of Tears, all that, 1830s. Congress reacts to the acquisition of the Mexican Cession after the Mexican War. Texas had been recognized as a state, the last slave state, by the way. Texas had been recognized as a state. Mexican War takes place. United States takes from Mexico what is now our entire southwest corner, including California. Civil War, of course, is going to open up further westward expansion. So this post-Civil War policy establishes a further reduction in the land where the Indians could live. So I kind of call that the Great Reduction policy. They actually reduced it to 3 areas. They could either live in the Dakotas, they could live in Oklahoma, which was Indian Territory, or they could live out in the southwest corner inside of Florida. Inside of California. So then the post-conquest policy, you got all the Indian wars, which end with the capture of Geronimo, and 1887 post-conquest policy, you guessed it, the Dawes Severalty Act. Severalty is a real estate term. Dawes, name of the man who introduced it to the Congress. Nice flowery language here, to encourage them to become independent farmers. Well, that is irresponsible, because flip the page, and what you've got with the Dawes Act is forced assimilation, which, as we established earlier, or I did, the adapting to the prevailing culture. And this is forced assimilation. Assimilation, it's not necessarily forced, is it? Well, Dawes Act is an example of forced assimilation. Let's make no mistake about that. Historians, gotta love them, Reinterpret the American West. Well, I like this frontier thesis, is what we call it in the industry. The theory that stated that there was no more frontier, and since we have no more frontier, then the evolution of our character, of our democracy, that's what your book's talking about right here when it says American institutions. So our democracy had been evolving since day one. And is it going to stop evolving? Is our character going to stop evolving? And this was quite fearful, to a lot of folk. And it kind of made the headlines there for a while. 1893, Frederick Jackson Turner was a professor of history at the University of Wisconsin. There you go. So look what was at stake. Your democracy. Is it going to continue to evolve? Look, if you look at state constitutions, you can see the evolution of American democracy. I mean, look at the original Constitution of the original 13, then look at the original Constitution of the next 3, including Kentucky, then look at the original constitutions of those developing around where my home state of Arkansas gets settled, 1830s. Then look at the states' original constitutions that came into existence later. Then you got a bunch after the Civil War. You'll have your last surge around the turn of the century, a little bit after the turn of the century, 1900. So you examine those and you can see how, as time goes by, we become a little bit more inclusive in our democracy. A little, I said. It took us a long time to get where we are. And I believe that's it for chapter 15. I'll see you in chapter 16. Later.